What up, YouTube?
For the old man.
That's right. Old Man Games channel. Old Man Games here. Welcome and welcome back to the returnees to the channel. Brand new series for you. Yep, you see it right before your very eyes. I bet you never thought you saw the day. College football 25. Bringing it to you. Finally on the channel. I've had it for a couple months now. Been playing through all the updates, just learning the game, figuring out what I want to do, how I want to bring it to you. We're going to do something a little different on this series. It's still going to be CPU versus CPU, as you know we do. But what will be a little bit different is, first, as we take over this program, we're going to spend a few seasons building up our roster. So we're going to be fast simulating through the first couple seasons, but I'll show you how I do my fast simulations on this game. It'll be a little bit different, just to make sure that my playbooks and our system is infused into it. And then what else? Also, when we do get to the point where we play the games, I'm not gonna show the entire simulated game. I will be simulating them in the background, and then I'll just come through and show like the game highlights as well as the stats and things of that nature. So we'll get through, well, on my end it'll still take the same amount of time, but then on the viewers end it'll just be a condensed version of what we previously shown. What else? Oh, okay, yeah, so that's about it in terms of how we're gonna run this series. And then for this episode number 1, I'm just gonna get into the playbook and the game plan, just to show you, you know what I'm saying, like how we have that set up. Talk a bit about the type of players we're gonna be bringing into the system. I'll talk through that as I walk through the playbook. And then we'll get into the dynasty. I'll show you the team we selected, the coach we got set up, and all that good stuff. And then that'll be this episode. And then on the next episode, hey, it's time for action. So, all right, let's jump right into it then. All right, so here we are inside of our playbook. We just hopped right into it. I am... yeah, this is our Dive 2 playbook. Let's see. Oh, okay. So let me show you just the formations that we run. It's a multiple playbook. I use multiple formations. We got the 3-4. Out of the 3-4, we use the bear and the odd. Just 2 different sets out of the 3-4 formation. Out of the 4-3, we use the over solo, the under. I think that's it. Over solo, and under. Yeah, 3 sets out of the 4-3. We got 1 set out of the 5-2, which is the normal. I don't think we use that much, but we got it in there. Actually, I just noticed this here. I'm gonna put Wildcat defense on there. Yeah, put some Wildcat defense. No, I'm tripping. Actually, no, I will put that Wildcat defense on there. Okay, anyway, out of the dime, we have the normal goal line defense. We use the 5-3 and the 6-2. Out of the nickel, we use the 3-3, 3-3 double mug, 3-3 odd, and the over. And then out of the prevent, 3 deep, and that's it. Those are the formations we use on defense. All right, and then as I walk you through our game plan, I'm just going to quickly scroll through. I'm going to quickly scroll through these plays. I'm not going to really highlight any play, but as I'm scrolling through the plays, I'm going to talk about the type of players we're going to look to build our program with. Okay, so as it relates to our D line, our defensive tackles, mainly I'm going to be targeting run stoppers. Now I may make a few exceptions for pass rusher type defensive tackles, but that'll be very rare. But with the defensive tackles we are going to go after, the run stoppers, I need them to be strong. So strength minimum has to be at least 85. If they're over 90, that's where the sweet spot is, and that'll also be what really can dictate and determine the pass rushers that get through at that spot, is whether or not they have that strength. Otherwise they may end up getting cut. But that's our defensive tackles. As far as the defensive ends, we mainly go after power rushers at the defensive end spot, but we will sometimes make exceptions for speed rushers. I definitely do not want run stoppers at the defensive end spot. Run stoppers typically get moved over to defensive tackle. So if I recruit a defensive end who's a run stopper, if he has the size, he most likely is going to get moved over. If he doesn't have the size and the strength, he's most likely going to get cut. All right, so that's the D line. In terms of our linebackers, what we like to do is across the board, whether they're outside or inside linebackers, whether they're outside linebackers or middle linebackers, they have to have speed. So the speed minimum at the linebacker spot across the board is 80. I don't go after linebackers who are in the 70s in terms of speed, okay? Similarly with tackling, I don't really want to tackle a linebacker whose tackling is under 70. And then the types. So outside linebackers, we go after pass coverage and run stoppers. Not so much pass rushers. If they're a pass rusher, if we recruit a pass rusher as an outside linebacker, he either has coverage ability to be able to stay at the spot, or he gets moved over to defensive end. Simple as that. Middle linebackers, similarly, we go after pass coverage guys, run stoppers, or also field generals, as long as they meet the speed requirement. Also too, I want to say there's like a strength requirement at the running back spot. I want to get linebacker spot. I want to bring in linebackers who have strength over, let's say, like 80. I might make exceptions for guys who are between 75 and 79, but for the most part, I want my linebackers to be pretty strong. Next, I'll talk about the DBs. So as you can see, as I've been scrolling through this game plan, we use a lot of man-to-man plays. So at the corner spot, we want corners who are man-to-man coverage corners. We use some zone, but zone corners and slot corners will be exceptions. We really go after man-to-man corners whose speed is 90 and above. All right, our free safeties can really be anything, but we most likely go after like coverage type free safeties. I think they have zone and hybrid. Those are the two types for free safety. And then for strong safety, those are mainly predominantly run stoppers. All right, and so that's our offense. That's our defense and the type of players that we go after. So let me flip over to the offense and break that down. Boom. So here we are in our offensive playbook. On the offensive side, it's a multiple offense as well, but just know that for the base, I started out with a generic option playbook, and then from there I just made a bunch of tweaks and changes. I built this playbook over a few seasons with different teams and different and other dynasties I had, offline dynasties, and just refined it and honed it. But basically our offense is a run first, run dominant offense. So let me get into show you the formations that we got in the sets. All right, so flex bone, because again, like I said, we our base for this, even though it's a multiple offense, the base for this offense was the option. So flex bone, we have a lot of. We use the close, the east, normal, split trips, tight, trio right, and the U off from the flex bone. So we got a lot of flex bone going on in our offense, although I wouldn't necessarily say we are an option offense. Goal line, just the regular normal set. pistol. Out of the pistol, we use a lot of pistol. We use the bunch tight end, bunch X nasty. That's what that looks like. Flex bone slot. We use flex bone trips. We use full diamond out of the pistol. We use full house out of the pistol. We use full house close out of the pistol. Full house twins over. Open flex out of the pistol. Weak slot open out of the pistol. And then the wing slot over out of the pistol. Those are our pistol sets. Then we have shotgun sets. So our offense is mainly predicated off flex bone, pistol, shotgun. All right, out of the shotgun, we use double flex weak, slot left stack. We got slot right, split pro far. We got split slot open. We got split twins. We got split Y offsets. We got spread offset. We got tight. We got U off trips. We got U off trips weak. We got wing tight nasty. And those are the shotgun sets we have. And then we also have a few wildcat sets, or not a few wildcat sets, a few wildcat plays out of 2 wildcat sets, but we primarily and predominantly use the wildcat in the goal line. No other place where you see us run the wildcat other than the goal line. All right. So as I scroll through the game plan, I'm just going to talk about the type of players we're going to be looking to bring into our program to fit this system that we're running. Again, it's a run dominant system. You'll see we run a lot of RPOs. We don't really look to get down the field vertically passing that much. We might sprinkle some of that in there for third down plays, third and longs, third medium, stuff like that. But for the most part, our passing routes are really short and condensed passing. A lot of screens to our running backs, fullbacks, tight ends, that sort of thing. Also, too, we utilize fullbacks in our offense. We try to carry at least 3 fullbacks on our roster. Tight ends, we try to carry at least between 4 to 5 of them. Also the type, okay, let me scroll through this, start scrolling through plays as I talk about the type of players, and I'll do similar. I'll go from the line and work our way through. All right, so starting with the offensive line, we primarily go after agile. And when I say primarily, I mean predominantly, maybe like only, right? And similarly, they gotta have strength. So minimum strength threshold for the offensive linemen that we recruit is 85. So we looking for agile linemen who have 85 strength, basically. And once I get a full line of those, like 10 to 15 of those in my system, oh, look out. So yeah, that's what we look for, because a lot of the runs that we use are zones, counters, stuff like that. We do have some power run game, but for the most part, it's a lot of zone type plays. We got some options in there, stuff like that, and misdirection type plays. So that'll be what we look for offensive line wise. Let's see, from there I'll talk about, next I'll talk about the receivers. So receivers, primarily, not predominantly, but primarily, we go after physical receivers with strength. Right now, as long as they have speed of 88 for the physical guys, that's all good. If they're 90 and above, that's even better, right? And 90 and above, both for speed and acceleration, sweet spot. But again, we still will take the guys who are 88 and above speed wise as well, as long as they got the strength. And that's because we rely on our receivers to block heavily in this scheme. Now they do get the ball some, but we rely on them to block a lot. And they also, we have this set up so that we have, you know, like as you can see here, it's the screens. We utilize a lot of screens, but damn, I forgot what I was trying to say. But anyway, yeah, so for our wide receivers, we try to get them involved in the run game. So we utilize a lot of plays where we hand off to the receivers and some I forget what they call them, but like sweeps. We got a sweep reverse here, but different plays like that. Jet passes, jet touch pass, those kind of plays. Here's one of them. But yeah, stuff like that we utilize for our receivers. And then I'll sprinkle in, recruiting wise, receivers, some deep threat and route running receivers. But for those guys, they either got to be strong or got to be to the point where we already predominantly or primarily, it got to be to the point where we already have mostly physical receivers, and I'm trying to sprinkle in a little bit of diversity. So I'll throw in a handful of, or like one or two, a route running guy and a deep threat guy, like that. So if I have, like, let's say if I have a total of 8 receivers on the roster, 5 of them will be physical receivers, and then the other 2 of them will be either 2 route runners and 1 deep threat, or 2 deep threats and 1 route runner. It'll be some sort of combination like that when you see my roster. I didn't mean to do that. All right. And then what's after that? Quarterback. Let's talk about quarterback. We'll leave running back for last because, especially since this is a running dominant scheme. So for our quarterbacks, we're looking for scramblers, obviously, but scramblers who can throw. So we will also make exceptions for improvisers who can run. And they have to be able to, in terms of throw, they have to be able to throw under pressure. The sweet spot for that is 75, but I'll also take somebody as long as they're over 70. They can't be under 70 in the throw under pressure. Then they got to have decent accuracy in all 3 levels, short, medium, and deep. And they have to be able to throw on the run as well. Then as long as they got decent speed, for quarterbacks, decent speed in this game is like over 80. As long as they got that, that's good. Ball carrier vision, although I don't think you can always see that on the recruiting. You don't get that maybe until they're already on the roster. But yeah, so that's what we're looking for quarterback wise. And then running backs, all right? Running backs, we probably carry about 5 on the team, and we really look at running backs of all kind. Although what I try to do is I want to have at least 2 to 3 power backs, and then the other 2 to 3 backs will be elusive and or receiving backs, because and they all got to be able to receive, right? But we just have to always carry power backs. If you're a running team, you got to have a power back, right? And I like to have a couple of those. And then the elusive and receivers, the scat back types, we use those because we, with our passing game, we throw a lot of screens to our running backs and stuff like that. I think I mentioned earlier, we utilize fullbacks in this offense, in this offensive system. And for fullbacks, we go after either utility or blocking fullbacks. The fullback does carry the rock a bit in this system. They may be thrown to sometimes on a couple of screenplays. We feature them in, so fullbacks play a role, and we need them just for regular blocking. The tight ends in this system, we go after either blocking tight ends or possession tight ends. It's very rare. We may make an exception here or there, but it's very rare that we go after deep threat tight ends, right? It's mainly possession or blocking tight ends to help with the run game. That's speak on tight ends? Yeah. Oh, okay. And then running backs and third. Okay, so yeah, I think I covered all the positions on offense. That's pretty much it. And then in terms of like our play style, right? It's a running dominant offense, but it's also, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a West Coast offense, but we are a ball control offense. We try to control the ball, control possession. So with that, when you see my coach setup, the coach is set up for conservative play clock management, and then also conservative versus aggressive play calling. We're more on the conservative side, on the offense, that is. And then with that, that also means that the kicking game is very important to our system, how we like to run things. So we got to make sure we have good kicker, a really good, reliable, accurate kicker, and a really good punter on the team, because field position becomes critical for the type of play style we have. So a really good punter and a really good kicker, right? So I'm just scrolling through these fast. If you want to really see the breakdown of like the play, the game plan and what the plays that we're utilizing are, I would just say run this back on slow-mo. I'm just scrolling through so you can see them all. I can't really go through all these, otherwise this would be like an entire 1 to 2 hour episode, and I just don't got it in me right now, y'all. Trying to get through this. But as you can see, I utilize a lot of plays in the game plan, and the reason why that is, I'll speak on that. The reason why I do that is because you know, it's a computer versus computer world that we live in. So try to give the computer a lot of options, basically, is what I'm doing. So it's quite a few plays that we use, but you can see the type of plays that we're running. Not too much in the way of vertical passing. I mean, we got some vertical stuff on, you know, like I said, 4th and long, 3rd and long, stuff like that. Or in our 2-minute drive, stuff like that, you know. But at the end of the day, it's a run dominant offense, as you'll see once we get into the swing of things. Yeah, we got way more offensive plays than defensive plays, that's for sure. Defense is pretty simple, but the offense, boy, oh boy. Look at this. We got a long way to go, y'all. But I want to just show it to you, like I said, and if you want to see it, you know, just go back, run it back slow, and you'll see what's going on here. Hold up. What is this? Go for 2. Hold on, let me set this back. This should all be at the same pace for the go for 2. All right, hold up 1 second before I get to the goal line. All right, my bad, I had to take a quick step away. All right, so anyway, here's the goal line plays. Scroll through those, show you how we working. What we're working on, how you got the offense structured and set up. Goal line pass plays, not too much going there, although let me fix this. Hail Mary plays, red zone plays. Got quite a few on here. Scroll through those, let's just see what we're working with. You'll see those corner routes in the red zone on the CPU versus CPU. Yeah, once we get our receivers into the system, those are going to be clutch. Same with a lot of those RPOs we got going for our receivers. Once we get our receivers in the system, y'all gonna see. Now, it ain't the focal point, but we still have explosive plays from there is what I'm trying to say. These are the red zone fringe plays. Got quite a few of those in here. This is just to give you a full taste of our system, how our system works, how we operate. We utilize a lot of screen plays, as you can see, both for our running backs and receivers. Then I think this is it, the run out the clock plays. These are the run out the clock plays. All right, boom. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead, hop into the dynasty now, and then walk you through who we're using. We're gonna be using, who is it? Louisiana Monroe. They're like a 1-star, 71 overall. We signed a 5-year contract with them. I'm gonna hop over to that and show you the coach setup. All right, let's go. All right, so boom, here we are with our coach, James Oleman. We chose the recruiting option, so that's where we're starting in terms of the coach skills. We haven't used our coach points yet. I'm not going to use it until I get to like 10 points at least. It don't really matter to me much yet, but let me walk you through. Where is it at? Yeah, okay, let me do edit coach just to show you how I have them set up. All right, our coach name is James Oleman. I have this set up on generic multiple offense and generic multiple defense. However, in the actual games, the way we work this is, like I said, for the first few seasons, while we're simulating to turn over the roster, the whole thing is gonna be simulating, but as we fast sim to turn over the roster, I don't just click the button to sim, I still go into the games and sim that way, just to make sure that the customized playbooks that I set up get used into the simulation, if that makes sense. But I'll show you when we get there if it doesn't. All right, I have adaptive AI set on aggressive. I have no huddle style is conservative. Like I said, we try to control time of possession. That's a part of our game style. Offensive aggressiveness is set at 30. Sometimes we go for it, most times we don't. Defensive aggressiveness is at 65. We're doing a lot of blitzing and we're doing a lot of man-to-man covering, which is very aggressive. All right, so as you can see, that's James Oleman. He was show you his physique real quick. He's 5'10", 210, former running back himself who became a head coach. And what else I got this at? His alma mater, I set this up at Sam Houston. Oops, what am I doing? Alma mater is Sam Houston, and his pipeline is East Texas. All right, and this is his first gig at University of Louisiana Monroe Warhawks. Go Hawks! So after, he gonna be like Russell Wilson at the end. He was so excited when he got this gig. At the end of all his interviews, he'd be like, "Go Hawks!" Like how Russell Wilson used to do when he played for the Seahawks. All right, so that's our coach. Oh, real quick, let me show you what we inherited in terms of our roster, and I'll also talk through the strategy on how I plan to rebuild this roster. So quarterback wise, we did not get a quarterback that really fits our system. I mean, we got a lot of field generals who can't really run, who are under 80 in speed, but the beautiful thing in the transfer portal era is that it doesn't take nearly as long now to turn over your roster. Running back wise, we got some decent ones actually, who I think will be able to help us out for what we're trying to do. We don't have any fullback, so we're gonna be converting some people. Wide receiver wise, we didn't get much. We didn't get much here, but we will turn this group over. Tight end wise, similarly, didn't get much. We did end up with a 5'7", 172-pound tight end. Come on now. And with these guys, these are the guys we inherited, so we can't do much in terms of editing. O-line, we definitely didn't get much on the O-line, so the first couple years are going to be pretty tough until we can turn over this O-line. Also too, what you're going to notice is normally, okay, like when I got a system, when I got a program up and running, I'm a program builder. Once I have a program up and running, I'm recruiting to replace my seniors and my juniors that could go pro early, right? But in the beginning stages, when I'm taking over and trying to rebuild a program, it don't matter what level, what grade, you know, unless we got a position like this defensive tackle position where we got two seniors graduating and only 2 coming back, right? I might try to focus some effort there, but for the most part, we need we need we need better players across the board. So we're just going to be trying to get our hands on whatever we can get it on. We're not looking at need. In other words, we're not necessarily looking at seniors graduating. We're looking at just getting in as many good players as we can. Once we get them in, we can move players around to position wise to fill needs, but that'll be the mindset and the approach to this. And it's not all going to be transfer portal either. We will try to utilize transfer portal, but it's mainly going to be to high school recruiting. All right, real quick, let me set up my sliders. I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna set up my sliders and I'll come back and talk you through them. All right, we're back. Let me walk you through how we have all this set up. So for league settings, again, the game is all gonna be played on CPU versus CPU. Skill level is set on freshman. Coach firing, we have set to on, and again, we signed a 5-year contract with the Warhawks. Coach extra point speed setting is normal. Player edit permission, commissioner only, it doesn't matter because this is an offline dynasty. Injury and wear and tear are both on. Quarter length 15 minutes, accelerated clock is on at 18 seconds, minimum play time. Season experience, team help, full control, manual for league advancement. Recruiting help is off. Coach auto progression is off. So that's where all the magic happens. We'll be handling that on our own. Then when it comes to gameplay sliders, computer and player skill are set both at the same exact. So quarterback accuracy is set at 35. Pass blocking is set at 75. Wide receiver catching is 45. Running back blocking 44. Fumbles 44. Pass defense reaction time is 48. Interceptions is 26. Pass coverage is 45. Tackling is 52. Quarterback accuracy 35. Pass blocking 75. Wide receiver, oh, I'm sorry. I told you it's the same exact. All right, same exact thing I said before is what it is here. I got caught up in autopilot. All right, I didn't change anything to the kicking. That's all set at 50. Made some changes here. Injuries, I left at 25. Fatigue, I bumped up to 55 so they get tired just a tad bit faster. Minimum player speed threshold, I dropped down to 25. I didn't do much to the penalties other than turn off the roughing the kicker and running into the kicker, because on computer versus computer, for whatever reason, and I don't know if they fixed that in any of the updates, but I don't even want to find out. When I played the games earlier on, these two seem to be broken. So turning them off, not dealing with them. All right, so that's the setup there. Yeah, y'all, I think that's about it. One other thing I could probably show you is I'll show our, this is a custom schedule, by the way, but here's our schedule that we have for the season. We'll play Sam Houston, UAB, Texas, I left on there, Troy, James Madison, those are our league games all through there. We got Texas Tech on the schedule. All right, but yeah, so that's the schedule right there. Most likely gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. You got a good look at the team, good look at the playbook and our system that we're trying to run, good look at the coach, good look at everything. When we come back, I'll show you. I'll go ahead, I'm gonna hop off of here, and when I come back, I will have on the next episode our initial recruiting board set up. I'll show you the players that we went through to find to throw on there. Then we'll move on to the first week. We'll move on to the season basically and get things started. So yeah, thank you for watching through. If you've watched through to this point, I hope you are as excited about this series as I am. College Football 25 on the Old Man Games channel. That's right, y'all. You know who it is.
For the old man.
Oh yeah, that's who it is. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop me a comment down below. Let me know. Hey y'all, until the next one, we will see you soon. Peace.